How's it going, Jack Tackers, and welcome back to another video for you guys. Today I'm going to be doing my continuation of the If I Was the Showrunner series for The Flash Season 6. This is for episode 16 entitled Rejection. So without further ado, let's get into this. The episode starts off at Star Labs a few moments after the last episode. Team Flash are all talking about their next play and how they want to handle Red Death. If we stand in his way, we could lose everything, Barry tells everyone. Quite frankly, I don't think it's worth after going after him, Ralph admits. Then what do we do, Caitlin asks. Look, I know how I've been acting lately, Barry starts. I've been unmotivated and selfish, but that's not who I am. I know this. When Red Death threw me on the car windshield, I felt scared at first, but then suddenly got a rush of energy. I felt like I could do anything, Barry continues. What exactly are you saying, Bear? Joe asks concernedly. I'm saying we reject Red Death's ultimatum and go after that son of a bitch, Barry says sternly. The intro plays. We cut to Joe and Cecile. They're at their house. You alright? Cecile asks. Good as I can be, Joe admits. Why, what's wrong? Cecile questions. Seems to be yet another threat on the horizon, Joe tells her. Well, what is there not? Cecile remarks. It's just after losing Iris twice and Wally, I just don't want to lose anyone else, especially you, Cecile, Joe exclaims. You can't think like that, Joe, she says. I know, but it's extremely difficult not to, Joe admits. You're a hero, Joe. You always do the right thing. You try and do things for the betterment of the greater good. Don't forget that, Cecile adds. We then cut back to Star Labs. Barry is trying to get used to his new prosthetic hand. How exactly do I use this thing? Barry asks Caitlin. Well, the idea is to use it as a normal hand, Caitlin tells him. Well, yeah, I know, but it's pretty difficult, Barry says. Well, it's obviously going to take some time, Caitlin tells him. We don't have time, Barry says worriedly. Why not? Caitlin questions. Red Death needs to be stopped, and I would like to end all this with him. But before it gets out of, hand, pun not intended, Barry says. What are you planning? What are you planning? Some retaliation on him? Caitlin asks. Kinda, Barry admits. So you're going to fight him? Caitlin wonders. Yes, I need to. This is the only way out of this. He literally wants to rule the world, and he told me he has people who would help him, Barry adds. Okay then, but we can't act now. We just can't. We need to be prepared. That way we can have a better chance at beating him, Caitlin exclaims. Yeah, you're right, Barry says. I know, Caitlin says, smiling. We cut to Joe. He's at a funeral for some of the cops that lost their lives in the battle for the Speed Force. As the funeral ends and he's walking out, he stumbles upon Agent West's grave. He puts his hand on it and says, I wish things could have gone differently. He then turns around and leaves. We then cut back to Barry and Ralph at Star Labs. Ralph has stretched his hands to shields, like he formed, I don't really know how to word this. He's formed like a shield or blockers. I don't really know what they're called, but like when you punch something. You see what I mean, maybe. I don't know. So Barry can practice punching with his new hand on them. Come on, Barry, hit me, he shouts. Barry then proceeds to hit Ralph with his prosthetic hand. It's no use, Barry says. Come on, that's quitter talk. Hit me, damn it, hard, Ralph shouts energetically. Barry then breathes in and punches Ralph's hand shield. Barry punches so hard, Ralph falls onto his back. Well, hell, not that hard, Ralph jokes. Barry then picks him up off the floor. If I'm going to stop Red Death, I'm going to need to learn how to fight better than this, Barry exclaims. We then cut to a montage of Barry and Ralph training together. After a few minutes of montage, Barry says he wants to take a break. As he sits down, he realizes something. I don't even know where Red Death is, Barry exclaims. Well, you didn't know where Thawne was either, so Ralph starts. What does that have to do with anything? I'm not just going to be a sitting duck waiting for one of Red Death's attacks, Barry says. Okay, then go looking for him, Ralph says. You confuse me, Barry admits. Look, the fact of the matter is that we only have two options. We wait for him or go after him. That's it, Ralph exclaims. I did not want to be in this position again, Barry says. Well, unfortunately, it's the one we're in, Ralph says. Doesn't matter. I'm going to find him, Barry starts. And when I do, there's going to be hell to pay, Barry continues sternly. The outro plays. Then we cut to a black screen. We see a galaxy of dozens of planets. Most of them are colored black, red, or gray. A caption comes up that says, The Dark Multiverse. We zoom into one planet. It's revealed that this planet is called Earth -1. We then zoom in closer to a city. It's Star City. We see Red Death return to his compound. He walks over to a ledge and we see a swarm of hundreds of people. "I've spoken with the Flash," Red Death says. The people cheer. "We can now start planning our attack," Red Death shouts. The episode ends. So that was The Flash Season 6, Episode 16, Rejection. A little Red Death tease at the end of the episode there. Haven't done like a tease after the outro, because you know how the Flash normally does that. Haven't done that in a little bit. I did it earlier on this season, but I didn't really feel the need to do it for any other episodes. But this one I felt like it would be cool to do that. So again, Red Death, there's a certain mystery with him. Some of you, it's kind of obvious, but again, I don't want to say anything. Like if you've been paying attention, like for last episode and this episode especially, again, I don't want to get too much into it, but there's a certain secret to him, which again, it's pretty obvious. You probably know like what I'm talking about, and if you don't, then I guess just wait, because I think it's pretty obvious, but I don't want to blatantly say it because it's supposed to be a pretty, I guess, big, but it wouldn't really be a big reveal, because if this was actually on TV, a bunch of people would already be speculating like what is happening. Again, I have to be careful with my word choice because I don't want to like be too obvious with it or blunt with it, because I do want to kind of keep it a mystery for some of you who don't really know. Maybe I'm sure most of you know, but again, I'm just gonna stop talking about Red Death. Red Death is Red Death, okay? We're just gonna stop talking about it. He's here. All right, let's move on. But anyway, let me hear your thoughts on this episode down in the comments below. And if you guys liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Stay tuned for episode 17. Subscribe if you're new. See you in the next one. Peace. Boo.